Welcome to The Lonely Business, a podcast where we peel back the layers of the self-employment journey to reveal the emotional tolls that come with it. We'll dive deep of the highs, the lows, and everything in between of the raw reality of what it takes to build a business. This is about the human side of entrepreneurship, the stress, the sleepless nights, the financial struggles. Let's hope that's not just me. I really hope that's not just me. I'm on a mission to connect with as many entrepreneurs as possible so together we could break down the barriers of isolation, share personal experiences, and really find solace in the fact that we're not alone. So grab your favorite brew, find a comfortable spot on the couch, and join me on this journey of finding connection. This is The Lonely Business, where the loneliness of business ownership is a shared experience. Let's do this. I'm Pierce, your host and fellow entrepreneur, and I'm so excited to welcome Haley Dasovich. We started our professional careers together. She moved on and moved up and became quite a famous influencer. I'm just kidding. As of recently, has started her own consulting firm.
This is how we prep ourselves for podcasts.
I feel young. I feel young all of a sudden. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh. Oh, Jesus.
Okay,
here we go. Whoa. Should we get this shit on the road? Why don't you tell us a little bit about the shift from going from tech to influencer to now kind of business ownership?
I think one of the things that entrepreneurship requires is to have a big working capacity. And I think that the training grounds that we learned that work capacity from was working at a tech startup. How we know each other is we both worked at Lyft back in the day. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. I got on the bus at 6:15. I got to work by like 7:30 because I wanted to do really well. I wanted to make all the calls. I was very competitive at that time. And then we'd work all day. We'd have like 1 hour of lunch, 1 hour to chill. And yes, while it was really social, a lot of us stayed late because this was really our time to like learn from all these other people, all these other mentors that we were surrounded by who had so much working experience, so much entrepreneurship experience, right? And that's kind of where the entrepreneurial spirit started. And I didn't even realize that until many years later. What launched me into video creation and YouTubing was I took some time off during Christmas and I went to visit my brother in the Philippines. And my brother and I both went to a school of the arts for high school. He was in film and editing and I was in musical theater. So we both have like this creative background. And when I got there, he was making videos for YouTube. And at the time, like in 2015, he was just like, yeah, I watch these people on YouTube and we're going to make a video and you're going to be in it. And I'm always down. I'm always game. Whatever happens, like, yes, put me in there. Like, that sounds fun. I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about. I was like, what do you mean you watch people on YouTube? Whatever. Like, you've been in film and editing for all your years. Like, let's do it. So we filmed this video and it's just us sitting at a table and it's just my brother and I, and he sets the camera up and I'm super awkward because I'm like, what are you doing? And then he's just laughing at me and teasing me. And it's a 10-minute video of us doing absolutely nothing, just being brother and sister. And we uploaded that video and it ended up going viral. In our terms at the time, viral was like 50,000 views. And we were like, holy shit, like 50,000 views? Like, what the fuck? That was crazy. And so that's kind of where it started. And I came back to San Francisco and without any videos on my channel, I had like 2,000 or 3,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And I told my brother, I was like, whoa, I have like 2,000 subscribers. And he was like, you got to start making videos.
You can start calling me Angelina.
That wasn't until years later.
Okay.
So I started making videos with my iPhone 4, I think. And I literally made videos about my daily life, taking the bus into San Francisco, going to my tech job, having lunch, wherever, like literally making videos sitting at my desk at work. Because it was fun and it was just something to do and there was some traction. I had 2,000 subscribers. So what ended up happening is I started going on, like, one of the biggest things that I love to do is travel, right? And a lot of the times during my time off, I wanted to go places. I didn't really have friends who could take the same amount of time off, so I would just solo travel. So a lot of my early videos on my YouTube channel were solo travel videos, and I just took them on my iPhone, and I self-taught myself how to edit on iMovie.
iMovie was the shit.
Oh,
I loved iMovie. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And, now in the professional realm, everyone talks shit about it. But if you're a new creative, it is easy as hell to get into.
I mean, I still use Final Cut.
I use Final Cut. I get so much shit for using Final Cut. I get so much shit, but I think it is incredible.
It's so easy to use.
Yeah.
Don't you
Yeah.
I see you rolling your eyes over there and shaking.
Talking shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like all these Adobe Premiere. Like, no, I don't have time to sit down and learn a new editing tool anyway, okay? And that shit looks like Linux to me. Like, I don't know. So that's basically how it started. And then what ended up happening was, because I was making these videos, I started getting emails from tourism boards. I started getting emails from just really small travel brands like backpacks and purses and whatnot. So that's how that started. So basically, like, my entrepreneurship journey started as a travel vlogger, and I didn't even know it back then. I didn't have this crazy master plan. I don't ever have a crazy master plan. I'm literally winging every day of my life. Like, seriously.
Well, let me ask you this. Like, at what point, because, similarly to how I got started, it was a hobby, it was a joy. And it was honestly at Lyft, to where it allowed me to experiment, and they accepted that, and they're like, okay, we'll create a position to where you can be creative. And it was cool. It was exciting. It was working out. So it was like, I'm going to lean into this. That being said, at what point did it stop being this like fun, exciting thing? And did it turn over like, okay, I got to do my video today? The dread of like, okay, this passion that I had is now work. Every entrepreneur that turns their passion into their job, there comes a point to where it turns over like that.
So there's this kind of average amount of years that YouTubers who like truly make it their full-time gig, the average amount of years that they keep it their full-time gig, I would say, is about 7 years. I got to the 6.5 year mark. So it was in 2021. I had this huge breakdown. February of 2021, I remember exactly where I was. I remember why I was feeling that. I was so exhausted. I was freaking worn out. I was burnt out. I was a one-woman production show pretty much for 6 years. I was on the road for 300 days a year, just traveling all the time. And from pre-production to post, it was pretty much all me. I was a director, host, videographer, camera person, editor, like scripter, person doing outreach. Like, I was doing everything. So I was so freaking burnt out. And in February of 2021, I was so freaking tired of invoice chasing. I was tired of doing this routine over and over again that I had a massive breakdown, and I pretty much sobbed for like 3.5 hours. I remember I was on the phone with my brand manager at the time, who I'd been working with when YouTube was my full-time thing. And he just really believed that despite how bad I felt and how worn out and how exhausted I was, that I could still take action and turn that and channel that energy into something else. And that's really was so important for me, and how I continued this entrepreneurship journey and ended up starting a social media consulting business. Was I just had one person who believed in me so much, who would encourage me so much, who never doubted me from day zero. And that was all I needed to then say to myself, I was like, I know I can do this. What's step one? Step one was, what do you want to do? And I figured that I just went with what I knew. And what I knew was YouTube, video creation, and social media. For the next 6 months after finally deciding, like, I'm going to be a consultant, I basically went through my phone book and I called every freaking person I knew, from Lyft, from the other tech companies, from my high school, every person I knew, just to see if anyone else knew any like creators who needed help coaching, who needed consulting, who needed coaching. I started just telling people I was a consultant, even though I had never gone through any type of session. I'd never learned, like, I'd never gone through any training programs. I just started walking the walk.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing about entrepreneurship is like the fake it till you make it, baby.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
there's no one that has all the answers. You don't just wake up one day, and in fact, there's no schooling that prepares you to have all the answers. It's all just kind of faking it and figuring it out.
And I was calling people. I was watching as many videos on YouTube as I possibly could about social media marketing. I was going on Skillshare and seeing what programs they had about social media marketing. I was watching masterclass. Like, everything that I was doing was I was moving in a direction where I kept thinking, oh, well, if I just do one more thing, that's going to make me ready to do it, you know? And that's the thing about starting your own business, is there's never going to be this one final thing that you're going to do or you're going to learn that makes you realize, okay, now I'm ready to start my business.
You have to build a plane while you're flying it. There's no innovative tech startup, unicorn tech startup where they just knew all their shit. They knew how to talk to their audience. They knew how to make brand partnerships. They knew it. No, they just said, oh yeah, we could figure it out. Yeah, that's cool. And so you kind of like, that's what you got to do. You just got to build it while you fly it.
Yep. So in the first 6 months of becoming a social media consultant, I worked with 5 different creators. Each creator I worked with only 1 month. After the first month, they realized how much fucking work it is to like build a YouTube channel or even be consistent on TikTok and Instagram with short form video, that basically at the end of each of this month, or each of these months with these 5 creators, they all said the same thing. They were like, I didn't realize how much work it was going to be. Because like, you see this thing and you're like, yeah, like I can do something like that.
It's not hard to be famous. It's just like, shut up.
Like, yeah, it looks so glamorous, and it's freaking
Work.
so much work. It's so hard.
To your point, like the burnout, it takes an extraordinary human being, coming from video production myself. When I went to grow my business, the same thing, to where I loved being part of the creative process. I loved making videos. I loved the ideas behind it, but it got to a place to where I just felt like you, so burned out and tired of it, to when I would work with someone, I was unmotivated, I was uninspired. And really, having a moment of breakdown of like, holy shit, I have dedicated everything to making this work. I have dedicated my heart is in this, my soul is in this, and I am miserable. And honestly, it took that breakdown to understand that, like, okay, I need to compartmentalize. What aspects of this business do I enjoy and that I could still draw energy from and inspiration from? It was no longer this full picture. It was picking out the bits and pieces of what I could find joy in. And really, that's what allowed me to grow my business. I'm no longer going to edit. I'm going to let someone else do that. And it's tough, it hurts your heart, but it's like, okay, they're making creative decisions that are different than mine, but damn, that shit is awesome. It's the creative direction of like, okay, I would make different decisions, but holy shit, what they're bringing to the table is sick as fuck. It also allowed me to take a step back and realize what I'm not good at, what I wanted to be good at, but I'm not. And, that comes to the pre-production and the organization. That's not my jam. There are 33 plus million small businesses. 1 in 5 small businesses fail within the first year. By year 5, 50% of small businesses fail. And by year 10, there's only 34% left as far as they're still chugging along. Every entrepreneur needs to have that breakdown moment and continue to persevere, continue to push forward, but find out how to compartmentalize and rediscover what you can be passionate about.
That's exactly it. That's exactly why I needed to take a step back outside of my YouTube channel and producing videos all the time, because it was miserable. It absolutely felt like I was just on this hamster wheel and I was going. It was like, and then I was thinking like, what the fuck else am I going to do after this? Like, if I'm not making YouTube videos, like, there's no way I'm going to go back into the corporate world. There's no way. But that is what really got the ball rolling for building this social media consultancy business. Because after the breakdown, after I decided I needed to stop YouTube and just like focus on figuring out what it is to build a social media consulting business, I took about 2 years to really focus on it. And there was a moment where I was like, I need to go back into corporate because I need to have stable financial revenue coming in, because it absolutely sucks not getting a paycheck. I mean, I spent like a year and a half trying to build this business and I didn't get a paycheck. I mean, I was having some residuals coming in from YouTube AdSense, but like shit was nothing, you know? So I think I made a list of a ton of different industries that I was interested in and then like kind of cut through them. And at the end of the day, I realized that I needed something that was inherently fulfilling and innately going to help the world. Mm-hmm. So I got a job at a climate company. I worked there for about 10 months and then I got laid off. But that is essentially why I absolutely finally went into being a social media consultant, because after I got laid off, I was like, I am never going to be under the hands of some, you know, corporate empire that decides the fate of my future.
I hate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Gross. And I hate to like sound like a LinkedIn post, but I got laid off and it was the best thing that happened to me.
Oh yeah.
And that's where I am now in my business. Is I'm kind of like on the voyage where like we've built the plane. The plane's built. We're good. We're like flying it. We're in a good place. We're voyaging out and we're like, you know, yeah, like it's kind of like Cloud 9 right now. Like I'm like, oh my God, I can't fucking believe that I made this happen. I can't believe it. And you know, right now I've got a good structure going on. I've got an amazing team with me. But right now, like I'm not about scaling and like working fast and like hiring and burning through cash. Like I'm in a good place right now and we're going to stay there and we're going to get another client in like a month or so. And then maybe after a couple months, we'll get another client. And
there are phases to building a business. There's the initial phase where it's like, oh my God, I'm actually paying my bills and I'm able to pay myself. Like, it's not a lot of money, but I'm like supporting me, you know, I'm supporting me right now. And then, you know, then you kind of go through some trials and tribulations. Then you go, okay, I'm sustained. Like I'm doing fine. I can start investing in more people. You grow it, you're spending more money and it's like, holy shit. Oh my God, scary, scary. And then the third phase of like, oh my God, we're supporting multiple people, then COVID happens, you know, and then you lose fucking everything. Eventually, and in the perfect realm, you can create a self-sustained, you know, spaceship, no longer a airplane. You're now on a spaceship to where, you know, in the perfect realm, you can sell your steak and live on a private island.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about like starting a business is that when you start a business and you get it going, that means that you can step back and not work that much. Mm-hmm. But starting a business and getting into the work and doing it, it's so hard and it takes such a long time to finally get into it. And you have to work long hours. Like you literally have to change your lifestyle. I don't know anyone who started a business who has been like, oh no, things were like, okay. Yeah. Like things are moving along just fine. Like
you're not going to work less hours, even though you do hire different employees to kind of absorb some of the tasks that maybe you did initially. You're still then, okay, I freed up this chunk of time and now I can look forward to then build out further in front of us.
One of the biggest reasons why I built this business is not only because I want to make a lot more money, and working in corporate for me personally, there was just a cap on that. And I don't really like negotiating with people being like, now that I've been here for a year, like, can you pay me more? Because like, look at all this. Like, I don't want to deal with any of that stuff. I just want to like show them the work that I've done, set the rate and say like, yeah, you can either hire me or not.
For me, the idea of asking permission to take vacation or take time off or have a sick day, this idea that I have to prove myself. Oh, you need a doctor's note? You can't, you know, I'm hitting 200% of my quota, but you still need a doctor's note. I mean, I worked before Lyft, I worked in solar energy in sales, and they would time you to go when you went to the bathroom. And this idea that I couldn't take a shit without someone timing me was insane. I was awarded $252 in a settlement because this was a known thing that this company was illegally timing people when they went to the bathroom.
Who the fuck is the CEO?
Yeah.
Like,
If you're a company and you're watching this, don't time your employees going to the bathroom. You're not gonna get more out of them. In fact, they're just gonna probably fuck shit up and steal your clients. So don't. Haley, kind of back to this idea of you getting back into YouTube. You know, you've started this business, this consulting company. You have your team around you. And it's with this promise of like, okay, I'm going to get back into YouTube and finding like what I love about it again. One, why get back into YouTube? If you kind of had that breakdown and you kind of pulled back, what is the draw back into the realm? And how do you think how is it going to be different?
it was one day I was actually traveling around Pakistan, and this was one of the countries that I felt just the most inspired to create every single day, like create really good stories about people of Pakistan. I thought to myself, I want to one day win an Emmy. And it was, I don't even know where it came from, but I'm not even on TV. But I was, just in some sort of like in my YouTube world, I was like, I want to win an Emmy.
Manifest that shit, girl. Manifest.
I had that thought in my head. And then what ended up happening was I actually won the Shorty Award for Best in Travel like 2 months later. And the amazing thing, and this is honestly one of probably the biggest moments that I was most proud of in my YouTube career, was like winning this award, because I like had the recognition. For me, it was validation that like I put in so much work. My brother won Vlogger of the Year in 2018 at the Shorties. We all traveled to New York for it. Like, it was this huge award ceremony in New York City with all these other incredible creators, and he won this award. And like, I went up on stage with him because I was just as much a part of it as he was. And it was just one of the greatest moments in terms of like our YouTube career. And I remember there being a travel content award, and I was like, I don't know if I could ever get to that point. Like, I don't even, my content's not that great. But then 3 years later, I ended up winning Best in Travel Content. And that moment, I was like, oh my God, the whole Emmy idea that I had, it could happen. Like, so this is partly the reason why I want to get back into video and YouTube, is because I just had this dream. I had this goal come into my mind in 2017, and I haven't forgotten about it. I still think about it, which means that like it's somewhere deep inside of me that I still kind of want to figure out what are the steps that I need to take to like get to that point. Why do you love video so much? Why do you love video creation so much?
So I love this idea of travel. I grew up in a community that, we didn't leave the country. Like our vacations were in an RV driving around, so I loved creating travel videos in particular, more for memories, to where I could watch them and immediately I get the feelings of seeing these blue waters for the first time, trying these dishes with spices I've never even heard of, meeting people with ideas that I had no idea existed. And so it's more of a, for me, thing. Like I still, to this day, the travel videos I have made, I watch them regularly. Like if I'm feeling down, I'll watch the video I made when I went to Thailand, because it was just this most incredible, also uncomfortable because it was so different, but in the best way possible. When it comes to the business side of things now, I really enjoy working with people that are driven, that ideally in the perfect world, I find individuals, and I get to work with individuals that whatever segment of the business that they're working in, that is their joy, that is where they find purpose in. I don't really want to build a company of people where it's their 9 to 5. It's just like, oh fuck, here we go, another day. I want to find someone that really loves to do video, just loves the shit out of it. I want to find someone that loves the organization that it takes to create a production. I want to find an editor that is just like, holy shit, I get to do this every day. And I think that's what keeps me trucking forward. I can smell someone out if they're faking, like if they just hate what they're doing and they're like, no, I'll do it for money. Yeah, I would love to edit, you know? And if I'm like, okay, you don't love editing. I could smell you from a mile away. You are miserable. And, you know, I'm not going to do us a disservice by hiring you to do what you hate doing. I've done that before, and it's not going to ever happen again.
I think it's so, so important to work with people who are passionate about the things that they're doing. That's what I love. Okay, this is a side note, but every time, like my biggest recommendation when people are traveling and they're in a new city, I always tell them like, hire a tour guide just for an hour or two, whether it's like Airbnb experiences or whatever, Expedia or wherever you can hire a tour, just hire someone because that person is so passionate about that city or about that culture or about, you know, wherever they are. They're so passionate, and it's like enriching to hear someone talk about their passion for an hour. Like you just revel, like you feel like you're both shining because they're saying these incredible things and you're like, wow, I never would have known this. I never would have heard this had I not met this person who spent their entire life, you know, learning all this knowledge. And I love being around people who are just passionate about their work because it makes a world of a difference when you're working with them.
If you don't like what you're doing, stop. Stop doing that. Whatever you want to do, there is opportunity there. And if you are working a 9 to 5 and you're finding you're miserable every single day, you're not setting yourself up for a happy life. But the pay is really great where they're at. They're comfortable as far as on paper, but they're just miserable every day. The piece of advice I'd give is get out. Like, get out, start doing what you love. It's possible. You know, Haley, I'd love to leave on, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, what advice would you give to people considering taking the jump and starting their own business?
Don't feel like you need to figure every single thing out. Like if you can't even figure out step 2, you know, step 1 is like, I'm going to start my own business. Step 2 is like, okay, well, basically like what customer do you know best or which industry do you want to work in? Step 3 is kind of like, okay, how do I get started? Just if you don't want to figure that out, just like hire someone, like pay someone for a couple hours to tell you exactly what to do. And then from there, you can just get to it faster than you would. Like this is what I wish I would have known when I was 26 starting a YouTube channel, is that I didn't have to do those 6.5 years doing everything on my own. I could have hired people to help me, whether it was an editor or whether it was a script writer even, or some sort of, creative, I don't know, brainstormer or someone to help me in some aspects, someone to negotiate contracts. Like I thought that I had to do everything myself. But you don't. You can outsource things. You can hire people for a couple hours. All the 10,000 hours that they put in, they'll give it to you in an hour's worth of time, you know? So I would say that's the number one piece of advice.
Well, I so appreciate you coming on the show today and chatting about your experience. You freaking rock. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Until next time, stay hustling, stay weird, stay awkward, and stay tuned for more business realness. Thanks so much.